Hi, I'm Brian Kearns. This is Module 8, Legal Aspects of Teacher Evaluation. The first article that I read was in the NEA Teacher Evaluation, and this one mainly focused on how the unions have power and can help set things up with teacher evaluations. It mainly started off by focusing on the Every Student Succeeds Act, which was implemented in 2015. It pretty much superseded everything that happened with Race to the Top. It states that evaluations no longer need to be based on student test scores. Um, it also mentioned that states are to set up the evaluation systems to determine teacher effectiveness in conjunction with the teacher unions in that state. It really felt like this was done, the Every Student Succeeds Act was done in response to the criticisms of No Child Left Behind and Race to the Top programs. It does also mention that the unions need to be involved in all the implementation process to make sure that teachers have a say in how teachers are evaluated. The next article that I read was the teacher evaluations head to court. This was just, the article brought up lots of different examples of the teacher evaluation systems being brought to the courts with the different problems. Really what it boiled down to is that ever since this was implemented, a lot of teachers are not happy with how the evaluation process has been put in place. A lot of the issues that have headed to the courts are things like the use of student test scores as part of the evaluation process, and in some cases up to 50% of a teacher's effectiveness is based on student test scores. Things like tenure is brought up because teachers that have tenure can be terminated because of their effectiveness rating. Student demographics is not included in the evaluation system. So inner city schools, schools that have high minorities or high population of student minorities, or also the high free and reduced lunch rates. Those play a role in how well students perform, and those are included on evaluations. So some teachers are being penalized because of where they are teaching. Also, the paper performance system is a big thing that teachers are upset about, and has been brought to court that it violates different union codes and things. Many of these cases, the courts have sided with the federal government, and even through the appeals process, the higher courts have sided with the federal government. But there are still some cases that have not been completed yet. Next, the last one I read was the teacher evaluation and issue overview. This one mainly focused on a lot of the problems that are going on right now with the whole teacher evaluation that was set up through Race to the Top. The big issue, the reason why these were implemented was because the federal government provided monetary incentives. If states were to set up these evaluation systems, and that included student test score performance. Shortly after this, a lot of states realized that they weren't quite ready for this and saw a lot of teachers being rated as ineffective because of the student test score. So they asked for a grace period to implement these evaluations. And I believe that the Every Student Succeeds Act was a result of that process, of all the problems that they're facing. So some of the issues that were brought up in this article were the inconsistencies of the evaluation, how what teacher 1 year would be rated as effective, and then another year they'd be rated as ineffective. Even though their test scores improved and nothing else changed, they still be rated as ineffective the next year for some reason. Another one was that teachers were being evaluated on the subjects that they did not teach. For example, this is one of the ones I'm affected with, being a Spanish teacher. I'm evaluated on how students perform on math and English. I'm a Spanish teacher. That's not one of my domains that I'm proficient in. So how can I possibly be evaluated on something I'm not proficient at teaching? Another one was the ability for schools to terminate tenured teachers without due process hearings. If they're rated as ineffective for 3 or more years, the schools can terminate those tenured teachers now. And those were the 3 articles and the things that I got from those 3. There's lots of legal aspects that are involved with this, and as I take the school law class, I'll be interested to see how more of this relates to it. But thank you, and have a great day.